Thanks, Brandis. The devil's always in the details, but as we just heard, the mayor today has touted nearly $2 billion in new spending on things from affordable housing to cash assistance for struggling families to the arts. But can these new programs be sustained amid perennially rising pension and debt obligations? So here to talk about her $16.7 billion budget proposal is Chicago's Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Mayor Lightfoot, welcome. And we should mention that you're joined by your financial team, CFO Susie Park, Jenny Bennett, Budget Director and Controller Reshma Soni. We welcome you and all of you to Chicago tonight. So, Mayor, I want to start. Actually, the spending here is about $1.5 billion over last year's budget. Will the city be able to maintain this level of spending in future years without big property tax increases?
Well, that's certainly our goal, and thank you for inviting us to be here tonight. Look, we know that in this time, where hopefully we are finally going to be putting the pandemic in our rearview mirror, that we've got to be bold and transformative in the investment that we make to make a real difference, not only today and tomorrow, but into the future. We have real immediate needs that are met by the investments that we propose, but we also are making long-term bets on our neighborhoods in our downtown area to stimulate business activity, to make sure that we're providing jobs and opportunity all across the city, that we are deepening our commitment to healthcare and mental health, and supporting our young people and also those who are most vulnerable, our seniors, those who are currently facing food insecurity and a whole other host of issues that have been exacerbated by the pandemic. We've got to do both and that's what this budget proposes.
And Mayor, there's about $1.9 billion in total from federal relief funds. About $1.1 billion of that is used to stanch some of this red ink that the city endured over about 3 years that were influenced by the pandemic. As you know, progressive alder people want more of that federal relief money to go to some of the programs you're mentioning. So will there have to be compromise in that number?
Look, I think that we have struck the right balance. We spent a lot of time from the very moment that we understood that we were going to be getting significant resources from the federal government to be responsible fiscal stewards of those tax dollars, to make sure that we were making and continuing to make interventions that got our structural budget balanced, but also really responding to the moment. There are people that are in need and hurting all over our city. That's what we talked about today. But more importantly, that's what we heard. We had very robust budget engagement, probably more than certainly in recent times. And there were very consistent themes. But the bottom line is people wanted to make sure that we showed up for them, that we were investing in them, in their families, in their communities. And I think that's what this budget does.
And Mayor, we mentioned some of these rising costs at the top. There's $250 million more in statutorily required payments to the pension funds, $275 million more for retroactive pay increases for police officers thanks to the new labor contract. Now, you and your team have said you're refinancing about $1.2 billion in debt to pay for a lot of this. Can you be more specific on how that math works?
Well, I'm going to start it, that I'm going to invite our CFO, Jenny Bennett, into the team. You can see Reshma Soni, our comptroller, Jenny Bennett, our CFO, and Susie Park, our budget director. But look, what we know is that we've got to climb our pension ramp. We're required to do that by law, and we're making great strides and doing just that to get our pensions on actuarial balance for the first time in the history of the 4 pension funds. We're very proud of the work that we've done, but it's been hard work. We've rolled up our sleeves. We've made the hard choices. We've not avoided as doing just one-timers. We've looked for a structural balance. And as I indicated in the speech earlier today, over $1 billion in structural solutions since the time that I become mayor, and more to come. Let me invite Jenny Bennett to add to those comments.
Sure. Just to add to the mayor's comments, the $1.2 billion refinancing is a refinancing for savings, the same way you would refinance your mortgage in a good interest rate market. The market is very good for the city, both by way of interest rates and the credit spreads, and so we intend to take advantage of that. The other ramp that the city has also climbed is our scoop and toss ramp, and we're now starting to pay down our debts not constantly be climbing a mountain of debt. And as a result of that, we're able to now invest in the city in long-term infrastructure projects that we think will benefit the city of Chicago more broadly.
Scoop and toss, of course, that controversial borrowing method that you and your predecessor have tried to sort of limit because of the risk. I also want to talk about investment in the CPD, Mayor. It's going from $1.7 billion to $1.9 billion. You, as you know as well, are progressive older people that want less funding for police and more for mental health services and other programs you've talked about. So will that be a tug of war too, that funding of the police department?
Well, first of all, the vast majority of that increase is a result of paying for the collective bargaining agreement that we reached with the FOP, but also helping add to resources for our police officers and officer wellness. But the other things that progressive voices have asked for, we're doing in large numbers. Whether it's in mental health, affordable housing, taking care of the homeless, addressing food insecurity, and building real transformative investments in communities, all of that is in this budget and more. This is truly a resiliency and recovery budget. There is something that I think should be palatable to most aldermen, and as a result of all the hard work that was done in previous budgets, and particularly last year, not kicking the can down the road and really making those hard choices. I'm grateful to what I've called the 2021, 29, the 29 aldermen who voted for the budget this last year. They made our path to a balanced budget and fiscal responsibility that much easier this year and in the out years. But this is a budget that should win overwhelming support from the members of the City Council. Now, we stand ready to answer questions that will invariably come. There are going to be negotiations that happen, but this is a very solid budget, born of lots and lots of time spent listening to members of the community about what their pain points were, what they wanted to see, and how we should allocate these precious one-time federal dollars.
And obviously you only need 26 votes to pass the budget. We'll see where that goes. You also have a cash payment plan, direct payments, $500 per month to 5,000 of the city's neediest residents. You're calling it the largest basic income plan of any kind in the country. Can you just explain how this will work as well?
Yes, what we know is that there's immediate pain that needs to happen. There are so many families that are sitting around tables like mine did, with their bills spread out and trying to figure out how they're going to juggle the limited dollars that they have. And then a curveball happens that could lead to potential financial ruin. Having an extra $500 a month for those families that are really in need, that are not being covered by other kinds of government relief, whether it be at the city level or the federal level, that can be the difference between solvency and financial ruin. And we need to meet the needs of our residents in this incredible time. It's extraordinary what we've been going through, so we have to use extraordinary tools to meet the needs of our residents. And this $31.5 million that we're proposing really addresses that need.
Mayor, I want to ask you about some of your other initiatives. Your proposal to sue gang members and seize their assets. You've received some pushback on that, saying it's potentially rife with civil rights violations. It'll target Black and Latino Chicagoans. What about that criticism?
Well, first and foremost, I'm always going to stand on the sides of the victims. When we talk about the violence that's happening in cities, far too often we ignore the realities of the lives of the victims. When tragedy comes to their doorstep, it doesn't go away ever and leaves a lingering scar that is very difficult for them to heal. So why we are so determined to make sure that we go after the blood money that has been gained by gangs who are violent, who have no sense of the sanctity of life, is because we need to protect the safety of our victims and our witnesses and our survivors. So yes, there'll be vigorous debate. I absolutely expect that. We're going to do this in a way that is totally constitutional. We will file a complaint. It will be filed in court, and a judge will decide whether we've met our burden of proof or not. That is far different than the other kind of forfeiture actions that have come before. But what I know is we need every tool in our toolbox to help fight the fight against the violent gangs that are wreaking havoc and chaos in our city and have no regard for the sanctity of life. Too many children's lives have been taken. Recently, a little boy, 4-year-old, the family calls him MJ. His name is Michael Moultrie Jr. We need to make sure that there are no more MJs that are taken from families and the hardship and heartbreak that that brings. So we're going to stand on the side of the victims, and we are going to go after the gang leadership that is profiting from killing our babies, that is profiting from terrorizing our elders, and is wreaking havoc in communities. We want to send a clear and decisive message. If you are going to use guns to wreak havoc, to take lives, we are coming after you with every tool that we have, including taking your blood money and giving it to support the victims in our city.
Mayor, I have to move on to COVID. CPS released recent data showing that about 481 confirmed cases at schools, and exposures out of that could be as high as 9,600. Where is CPS in getting a system-wide testing strategy up and running?
Well, look, I'm disappointed in the way that this has been rolled out, but what I will tell you is that we've now made sure that the Chicago Department of Public Health, led by Dr. Allison Arwady, is fully engaged with CPS. This is not a mystery anymore. We know how to do contract tracing, we know how to do case investigation, and we've got to make sure that CPS is using the tools at its disposal to do just that. So I am confident that things will improve, and they're going to improve because we have put Dr. Arwady and her team on the case, and they will be helping build up the infrastructure of CPS to do better case investigations and better contract
Are you saying the interim CEO for CPS dropped the ball on this?
I'm saying that in anticipation of the opening of school, there should have been a much more robust plan and infrastructure in place. We obviously did this work back last spring when schools opened, and with a full reopening and bringing children back 5 days a week full time, there should have been more resources to develop, but that's water under the bridge. We're moving forward. CDPH is fully engaged, and I have every confidence that CPS is going to be on the right path moving forward.
And very quickly, Mayor, as you know, the Inspector General steps down in just about a month or a little bit less. Will there be a replacement in place for when he leaves? And can you assure viewers that that person will be completely independent of your office and of City Council?
Well, look, as you know, there's a specific process prescribed by city ordinance, and we're following that city ordinance. There's going to be a selection committee, a search firm will be engaged, and we're going to do a nationwide search to find the next Inspector General for the city of Chicago. I'm somebody who believes deeply and strongly in the independence of Inspectors General, and I don't expect us to do anything other than make sure that we've got a strong leader who can keep this office moving forward and build on the work that's already been done. So I'm confident that we'll find that person in the nationwide search. And if we find that person by October 15th, we'll bring them in, get them engaged. If not, there'll be a short interim period, but the work of the office will continue without any interruption.
All right, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, thank you and your financial team for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.